Guys, I finally have some good news because Bitcoin, for the first time ever since the start of August, essentially, we've broken back into the $63,000 territory. Now, there are a couple of important factors that we need to keep in mind. There are a few reasons why this pump is happening, and the main reason I want to make this video is for all of those who think that this move is a trap. You need to be careful because this move can fulfill a Bitcoin destiny to $70,000. Now, the first reason for this pump is I checked with my dad. I asked him, did you buy Bitcoin? And he said, no. And he told me just now, we came from dinner, and he's like, I think I should buy now. And I was like, okay, this is why it's pumping. You didn't buy. So that's why Bitcoin can continue to pump. That was the massive warning signal we talked about in the past video, which works out 90% of the time. But jokes aside, Bitcoin broke out of a key ascending triangle that was forming on the daily time frame. You did not miss out on this yet because the move, in my opinion, is just starting. So if we look at this ascending triangle, it's been going on ever since the yen carry trade, which broke down and imploded across all financial markets and caused everything, including the S&P, to tank. Now there are still concerns that the yen carry trade is still probably going to play out at some point, but it looks like for now it's okay. So we shouldn't worry about anything like that. And even if we do have a black swan event, just remember all of these crashes are not caused because something is wrong with Bitcoin. They're all external factors. And when there is something wrong with the macroeconomic environment and not with the asset that you're investing in, it's always a great opportunity to buy. Why? Because if let's say Amazon, for example, I read a book about Amazon. And it says that back in 2011, there was a crash in the Amazon stock, but the company itself was performing very, very well. So when they asked Jeff Bezos if he was worried, he said, no, because we're profitable. And Bitcoin is still a very well functioning product. It's a very well functioning business. And regardless of what macroeconomic environment we're in the next 10 to 25 years, Bitcoin will outperform every form of investment, in my opinion, like it has been for the past 15 years. But with that said, I think the ascending triangle does have a target in the $70,000 region, even higher probably. Wow, okay, so 72,300, which I wouldn't be surprised by because we do have, first of all, the bull flag resistance at that level. If we just draw the bull flag once again, you will be able to see the resistance is currently at 68,500. And a good breakout from this triangle, if we get a confirmation on today's candle, which will close in a few hours, if we get that solid confirmation, I don't see a reason for Bitcoin to not go to 68,000. And I think everything looks good. So bull flag, we have the upper resistance. If we go to the weekly time frame, we had beautiful 2 reversal hammer candles, and those were the times that I scaled into my Bitcoin long position, both on the $10,000 trading challenge and in my personal trading. And we also went all in on Bitflex when Bitcoin was trading at the bottom at $51,000. So if we go back here, I put all the USDT I had in this account into Bitcoin at 51.1K. If you were able to dollar cost average into your portfolios at that dip, then massive congrats to you. And if you're looking for a place to be buying crypto, to be trading crypto, then I definitely recommend checking out Bitflex using the link in the description down below to get up to $68,000 worth in rewards and prizes. That's not too bad, is it? So Bitcoin is going up today specifically. Of course, we have all the beautiful reversal hammer candles. We had 2 weeks of consolidation. If you go back to post ETF, it was 3 weeks of reversal candles before we exploded towards the upside. If you go back to last year, it took a few more candles before we could go and break higher. But this time around, we have a beautiful technical structure on the 2-week time frame. On the 2-week time frame, we have the bullish crossover on the stochastic RSI, an indicator that flashed in September of last year and took Bitcoin approximately, I think 150% higher. Even more, 171% higher since the bullish crossover of the stochastic RSI on the 2-week time frame. That's another thing that's flashing. We have the bull flag, we have the bullish cup and handle pattern, and the list goes on and on and on. You can also say that in terms of the cycle structure, Bitcoin is playing very well in terms of where we are in the cycle. We are in the accumulation phase that tends to happen before Bitcoin blasts off into the next part of the bull market. So if you were frustrated the past few days, if you were scared, if you were afraid that Bitcoin was going to go lower, then always have the macro picture in your head that whenever Bitcoin surpasses the prior all-time high with a confirmation, then Bitcoin always ends up going higher. We also formed great support, by the way. This Mr. M pointed out on the Moon Show a few hours back. He said that, look, we're flipping the prior all-time high resistance into support now, and theoretically, with this Bitcoin bull flag, we should be continuing higher into new all-time highs, and I completely agree with that statement. That's it for the Bitcoin today. I don't want to go too much more into detail because I don't think we have to do that. I mean, in the short term, yes, we do have some resistance from a couple of SMAs, but the EMA ribbons are flipping back bullish. That is a very great sign. Bollinger Bands on the daily time frame have been squeezing, and if Bitcoin is able to break above 63.4 today, then we should be going above that upper Bollinger Band, and that big wave derived from the Bollinger Band move could very well take us back into the $70,000 region. The reason why Bitcoin pumped today was because of the value of the dollar collapsing. The Fed Chair Powell, he spoke at the Jackson Hole Symposium and assured people that the Fed is going to cut interest rates. And I do have a quick summary of everything that he said, but the most important quote that initially pumped the markets was that the time has come for Fed policy to adjust, meaning there will be an easing in monetary policy. We talked about the concern of raising or decreasing interest rates because every single time in history, a reduction of rates from a high level has caused massive recessions on the stock market, and Bitcoin hasn't experienced such event like that before in its history. So that is a concerning event. But what we also know is if they do raise interest rates, or if they do decrease interest rates to say, the value of the dollar will continue to go down because people are less incentivized to put their money into a bank account and collect a 5.25% interest. Because, well, the interest is going to be lower now into 4.75%, and they can potentially get a higher return if they invest their money into risk-on assets, including Bitcoin and the S&P 500. So in the short term, I think Bitcoin is looking bullish. If the S&P does crash because of a rate drop, then Bitcoin will probably get impacted in a severe way. However, always keep in mind that in a time of devaluing currency, Bitcoin will always propel. And the best example for this is Bitcoin when compared to the Nigerian Naira, Egyptian Pound, and Turkish Lira. You're probably going to call me crazy, but you will very nicely understand in the upcoming few seconds what I am talking about. So this is Bitcoin against the dollar, right, on the monthly time frame. And you can see a beautiful picture here, a beautiful uptrend of Bitcoin climbing in terms of price. And you can see that there are diminishing returns with the formation of a curve. And essentially what people are scared about is that the amount of gains we will see on Bitcoin will reduce to a point where we'll just consolidate sideways for the rest of eternity. But that's not true, right? It's currently the fact, it's currently the case for the US dollar, but once you go into the Egyptian pound, or if you go to the Turkish lira, the Nigerian naira, the Argentinian peso, all currencies that are experiencing hyperinflation and therefore devaluation, you can see that curve being broken down or broken out, in fact. So you no longer have diminishing returns. In fact, you have broken out of that curve and now you're going to what is called a super cycle. Eventually, the dollar will lose so much value that Bitcoin will, against the dollar, go into the $1 million ranges. But keep in mind, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to go up by 15x in value. No, you're hedging yourself against devaluing currency and also seeing a gain, a monetary gain on the investment that you've made. Unlike gold, which has gone up by like 30% over the last 20 years. Yes, you've held your monetary value, but you've not really made a return, if what I'm saying makes sense. So overall, I think Bitcoin is looking great. I think September is probably going to be still a bit rough, and most likely we will consolidate for a little bit more. But going into Pumptober, going into the presidential election, Bitcoin should start pivoting. And why do I say presidential election? Well, if you guys are unaware, former President Trump yesterday on his Truth Social account posted the following. For too long, the average American has been squeezed by the big banks and financial elites. It's time we take a stand together. And the most important bit is he put a link to a Telegram group, which is called the Defiant Ones, and Defiant comes from DeFi. I think it is genius, and I think it is unbelievable that a former president has decided to launch his own DeFi project. It's confirmed by Don Jr., his son, who posted earlier on his Twitter account saying that we're about to launch a decentralized finance product. Now, why do I think this is revolutionary? I think it's great because, first of all, decentralized finance fits perfectly into the Constitution. It's a very constitutional matter to the essence that you get to own your own monetary freedom. You own what is yours, and you're not dictated by any singular individual who can control what you spend your money on, aka CBDCs. So DeFi completely eradicates the middle instrument that can dictate your transactions. So it's super constitutional. It's a super far-right approach, and apart from his campaigning propaganda, it fits the Trump family perfectly too, because they are under a lot of scrutiny, correct or incorrect, that's not what I'm discussing here, but they are under a lot of scrutiny, and he may be scared that they will try to take and seize his assets. And the only way that they cannot touch his assets is if he puts his money into Bitcoin, or if he switches to a decentralized financial product where nobody can touch it because it becomes unconfiscatable. That's why I think it's pretty revolutionary. I mean, Carl made a video 4 years ago saying, breaking news, Donald Trump is buying Bitcoin while Donald Trump was president. Of course, it was an April Fool's joke, but it was one of his highest viewed videos. Now, fast forward 4 years, this is actually true, and nobody seems to care whatsoever. It just shows to you how early we are, and I'm going to keep saying this until Bitcoin reaches 100K. I think it will be cheap to buy Bitcoin, but there will be one day that arrives that we say on my channel, on everybody else's channel, to sell your Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be between $95 all the way to $130,000 for this cycle. And the next cycle, we could very well go into the $250,000, $300,000, and 8 years, 10 years down the line, Bitcoin should be worth 1 million. But remember, Bitcoin will always continue to go higher regardless of anything, just because of how the monetary system and money works, essentially. So Bitcoin will go up forever. Guys and girls, that is it for today's video. I think that the DeFi product could bring a lot of attraction to cryptocurrencies back again and potentially bring back retail. I just don't know if big banks and institutions will allow Donald Trump to do something like this, but that is a topic that we can discuss if the DeFi product becomes a reality. And in the meantime, you can join his Telegram channel to be alerted with the latest updates, because I think it is fascinating. So guys and girls, thank you so much for watching this video. Bitcoin is looking great on the 4-hourly time frame. If you want to open a long position, then you can either wait for a retest to the resistance of this ascending triangle, which would be at 61.7K, or if you want to be an absolute degen, then you could even consider opening a long position right now and putting your take profit at 68K and putting your stop loss. I think I would say for stop loss, probably, I would try to keep it as minimal as possible, because if this thing reverses on you, it won't be a good trade. But of course, nothing in this video is financial advice. This is just my opinion only. Guys and girls, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone. And I'm trying to use this software now because my eCam doesn't seem to work. But thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.